By the end of this video, you will have 8 simple yet powerful ways to help you reconnect with your feminine energy, to feel more balanced, more whole, more connected to yourself. These tools help me to reclaim my feminine energy, and they can do the same for you. Feminine energy is receptive by nature. Allowing yourself to receive lets you feel more supported, more taken care of, and even more loved. So next time someone gives you a compliment or offers help, practice this step by simply saying thank you. Take a breath and let yourself really receive it. Let other people fill your cup. There's no need to give anything back in return. Just be in the moment and enjoy the gesture. Allow yourself to be cared for. When you allow yourself to receive, you're telling God that you're open to all the good things that He has to offer. And guess what? When you're open to receive, you are making space for your desires to come into your life, whatever they may be. All right, speaking of welcoming things into our lives, let's talk about something that might be even more subtle: trusting your intuition. Trusting your intuition can feel risky or even irresponsible. It's tempting to want to make decisions like a male would, or using your masculine energy. But let me tell you, tuning into that inner voice is such a powerful way to connect with your feminine energy. Your intuition is your feminine wisdom. It doesn't shout. The voice of intuition, it whispers. It's usually a soft nudge from your inner wisdom that just knows what's best for you. It's an inner knowing that you have. And when you shove it down, when you ignore it because it's not logical, you're literally dishonoring your femininity. So learn to embrace your intuition. Learn to make space for it as well. Find a beautiful balance between logic and that inner voice that don't know how it knows, but just knows that this is the right thing for you. So here's a simple practice, right? Every day, take a moment to place your hand over your heart. Sometimes I like to place my hands over my womb space, right? Or like, it would be like my belly. I'll just hold that space, and it just makes me feel like I'm connected to this deeper part of myself. Then I would take a deep breath. I will take a moment to just be with myself. The feminine energy that resides in women, it's usually in our body. It's not in our head space, right? The head space, our brain, that's where the logic resides. But if you want to connect to your feminine energy, you have to get inside your body, right? What is your heart saying? What's your gut feeling telling you? So you want to touch it. Practice talking to it. Just close your eyes and ask, what feels good for you today? What feels right for you today? What do you think we should do today? Right? Talk to your gut, talk to your heart. Try to get in touch with your inner wisdom. Right? Try not to overthink it. Try not to rationalize it. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It's the wisdom that is specific to you. So it may not make sense to everybody else, but if it makes sense to you, then it's right for you, right? Now, I'm not saying to ignore logic altogether, right? It just means giving your intuition a voice, and also giving it a space to guide you as well as your logic, right? You've gotten this far with your logic. So your logic definitely plays a role, a beautiful role in your life. It's more of that masculine energy. But if you want to tap into your feminine wisdom, you have to learn to get inside your body. You have to learn to listen to your intuition. And that's going to be a journey, right? I remember the first time someone told me to listen to my intuition. I had no idea what she was talking about because I was so disconnected. I was so disconnected from my body. I was disconnected from myself. I didn't know what I really wanted. I was just living life based on whatever programming, right? I was raised with, whatever made sense to my mind. I had this habit of making pros and cons lists, and so like my life decisions were based on very logical systems. But lately I've been learning that sometimes logic can be like a one size fits all type of system, and there's a space for it. But also, as women, we have been gifted, it's a gift, we have been gifted with the ability to go inside and to just have this inner knowing, right? We just know. We just know. And so it's important to also listen to that, because if you don't, you're doing a disservice to yourself. God gave you this tool to use to help you to guide your life, to make life easier for you. So make space for it. Give your intuition a voice. Let it guide you as well. Okay, so now that we're beginning to trust ourselves on a deeper level, it's also time to focus on something we all need. When it comes to tapping into our feminine energy, self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Feminine energy thrives on self-nourishment, on self-nurturing, on self-care. But so many of us feel guilty about taking time for ourselves. We're constantly on the move, focused on work, family, to-do lists. You're always giving to everyone else. All you want to do is give, 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 give. But the reason why feminine energy and tapping into that is so useful is because it teaches you, it reminds you to receive, to also be on the receiving side of things and not just on the giving side. Motivates you and inspire you to fill your cup as well, right? Self-care is about filling your own cup so that you're not running on empty. Feminine energy, I always think of it like, because when you think of femininity, you're thinking, at least for me, I'm thinking of like, a pregnant woman. Like it fills you up, right? There's something being birthed inside of you and it wants to take care of you, right? It wants to give you the wisdom from the intuition. It wants you to receive and get help, right? It also wants you to take care of yourself. That's what feminine energy does. That's why it's so powerful and so needed right now more than ever, right? So self-care doesn't have to be complicated. It could be something as simple as a calming skincare routine, a warm bath, or even just a few minutes of journaling. It's about creating a ritual where you honor yourself, whatever that looks like for you, right? It could be reading a good book at night. It could be doing yoga at night and stretching. It could be journaling. It could be spending time with your loved ones. But creating a ritual that honors what fills you up, right? That's all it has to do. That's the only requirement it has to, it has to meet. Does it fill you up? Make sure your days are filled up with things that fill you up just as much as it's filled up with things that you're giving and giving and giving. So I will try this, right? Dedicate, even if it's just a few minutes every day, to something that feels nourishing, something that's giving back to you, right? It doesn't have to be complicated, like I said. It just needs to be something that lets you unwind and recharge, something that nourishes your soul, your body, that honors yourself. Yeah, this is your time to honor yourself. It's a huge step, towards reconnecting with your feminine essence. So for my perfectionists watching this, right? My overplanners. Okay, let me ask you this. What if you didn't have to plan every single minute of every single day? I feel like you'll be okay. I feel like a lot of us, we value structure, right? We value planning. And it's amazing. Like I said, we need that, right? I mean, I think especially us professionals, people who work in corporate, especially, structure is a lifeline, right? It helps us stay organized, productive, and on top of our goals. And those are all very important things. But, I have learned that there is a fine line between structure that supports you and structure that restricts you. Feminine energy is about flow, right? When you think of something that's restricting you, it feels closed off. But feminine energy is open. It makes space. It liberates you, quite literally, from being overly rigid with your life. It's about moving with life instead of trying to control every single detail. So when we allow ourselves to be flexible, we invite more ease into our lives, more spontaneity into our lives. And that is what feminine energy is about. It's about ease. It's about finding a way to live a soft life, right? Not always being so strict and rigid, but how can I just flow? How can I just do what feels natural to me? It's about allowing room for the unexpected. And, sometimes that's where the magic happens. So give yourself permission at least once a week to let the day unfold naturally, right? For me, those are weekends. Like Saturdays and Sundays, I do not plan much, right? I try not to plan much. What I try to do specifically is on the weekends, I don't put my alarm on unless there's something, there's somewhere I have to be. I just sleep and I wake up when I wake up. Like something small like that is a wonderful way of nurturing, right? Nurturing my femininity and just allowing things to flow and just be. How, like just wake up when I wake up, who cares, right? So finding ways to take out some structure from your life and just let it be unplanned, let it be easy, let it flow, let it just happen naturally. Let yourself go with the flow and just see where it takes you. This is so important because it helps you to practice letting go. Any control freaks watching this? Let go, right? Embrace life as it comes. Learn to trust yourself, learn to trust life. Just learn to trust that in spite of not having everything planned out, it's all gonna happen the way it's supposed to anyway. It's like, for me, I've learned that tapping into my feminine energy has really helped me and challenged me to trust God more. Like to trust that there's a higher power taking care of me, okay? And I don't know, for if you don't read the Bible, that's fine. There's a verse in the Bible that says something to the extent of, we plan and God laughs. Right? So ultimately it's good to have some form of structure in your life, especially when it comes to, your job and your work. But whenever possible, wherever possible, try to introduce some spontaneity, into your life, and just let things happen the way they want to happen, allowing things to flow and just go with the flow. All right. So as we're learning to go with the flow, it's also important to allow ourselves to truly feel. Y'all, this is step number 5, and it's my absolute favorite, learning to connect with my emotion and allowing myself to feel. For the longest time, I have been made to feel like emotions meant that I was weak. And I'm a deeply emotional person. I just am. And I remember suppressing my emotions growing up because it wasn't welcomed. But I've learned that feminine energy, feminine power, is deeply connected to emotional expression. It wants to be expressed. Feminine energy wants to be expressed emotionally, right? But for so many of us, right, we've learned that emotions are a sign of weakness instead of strength. We want to be strong, right? We want to be strong women, strong and independent. We don't want to be taken advantage of, right? So we suppress our emotions, right? Society tells us to keep it together, right? To be stoic, to be unshakable, to be emotionless. But the truth I've learned is that emotions are not weaknesses. They're messages, right? I like to think of my emotions as like my assistant. That's why one of my favorite movie is, oh my God, what's that movie called? About the emotions, Inside Out. My favorite movie right now, and well, I think it's like my top 10. Okay, my top 10 movies of all time, favorite movies of all time, is Inside Out. If you haven't watched it and you're maybe in that stage in your life where you're suppressing your emotions, you don't understand the value of your emotions, watch Inside Out 1 and 2, right? The way the movie portrays emotions is such a beautiful way, and especially if you're a visual person, watch that movie. After watching that movie, I realized that our emotions are like our assistants, or your emotions are working for you. They want you to do well. They're trying to help you. They're not here to hurt you. They're here to help you. So why suppress them? Why ignore them? Right? So ultimately, our emotions are here to communicate messages to us that we need to listen to, right? So it's important to embrace them because they can make you stronger, more connected, and more wise. So when you suppress your emotions, you're disconnecting from yourself. That's a huge part of who you are, especially as a woman. When you allow yourself to feel, you open the door to self-awareness, self-expression, and self-compassion. So next time you feel an emotion trying to come up, right, instead of brushing it aside, try sitting with it. I feel like feminine energy demands to be felt, right? So whatever that means for you, right? Journal about what you're feeling. Talk it out with a friend. Somehow find a way to give it your attention. Like, it doesn't help you. It doesn't do you any good. And it dishonors yourself when you're trying to shove your emotions and ignore them. Embrace your emotions. Do it without judgment. And I think that's a beautiful act of self-love, an act of courage, and it brings you closer to yourself, which is really what tapping into your feminine energy is. It's about getting you closer to yourself. Because I think what happens a lot, especially for us strong women, right? We're always looking outside. We're outward looking. We're expecting this person to accept us, and we're wanting validation, and we're going outside for our worth and our value and our wisdom. What feminine energy does, it's like, it does the opposite. It's like, no, go within. Go and listen and sit with your emotions, and there you'll find the answers, right? Listen to yourself. Take care of yourself, right? Find out who you are. Get closer to yourself. Then you'll find the answers. Then you'll find the fulfillment you need, right? Instead of just trying to get it from everybody else. I feel like tapping into your feminine energy kind of helps you to become, in a way, self-sufficient, because it's like you're getting everything you need right here because you're not ignoring it, right? You're spending time with yourself. You're caring for yourself. You're feeling all your feelings. And so there's no need to go outside because you're too busy trying to be here with yourself. So it's amazing. Opening up emotionally is an amazing way to tap into your feminine energy. But there is one part of ourselves that we often also neglect, the same way we neglect our emotions, and that is our inner child. So let's talk about how reconnecting with this can help you to tap in to your feminine energy. Honestly, that's kind of like where my journey with feminine energy started, was me doing shadow work. Shadow work is where you're answering really deep journal questions to try to find out more about your inner child, right? Like trying to remember who she was, trying to remember what she used to like, what used to hurt her, how is she still hurt right now, and how can you heal her? So that's how I began my journey. And I think it's a very, very essential part of tapping into your feminine energy, right? To reconnect with your inner child. As adults, we often lose sight of that playfulness and that curiosity that often accompanies being a child. Rightfully so, because now we have goals, we have responsibilities, we have serious things to worry about. But your inner child is a beautiful source of creativity, of joy, and of wonder. And so when you nurture that inner child, you bring a lightness and a softness to your life that is incredibly feminine. So here's a tip. Do something that feels playful and fun, right? Like dancing, painting, or even, play with your pet, or play a game that you used to play when you were a kid. I would show you guys, but there was this game that I used to play when I was a kid in Haiti. It's called Osselets, Osselets. If you know, you know, right? And as I was working on this, really trying to connect back with my inner child, trying to be more playful, I realized I really enjoyed playing that when I was a kid. So, girl, I went on Etsy, found someone was selling it. I bought a version of it, and I've been playing it, and it's I feel kind of silly doing it, but that's even more reason to do it because I do need to be just as playful or almost as playful as I was when I was a kid. Because when you're playful, like that childlike playfulness comes back. When that comes back and when that gets activated again, it helps you to let go of judgment, right? And it allows you to just be fully in the present moment and just embrace joy, embrace the joy of whatever you're doing in that moment. It helps you to be more present and more in your body, which is really what all of this is about, is coming back to yourself, coming back to the things that you used to do that really brought you joy. So rediscovering your inner child's joy can bring a beautiful softness to your energy. And I have to say that is one of the most life-changing things I have done. Okay, so now that we've connected with our playful side, let's look at how to carry your feminine energy into the workplace. Because I think that's when a lot of us have learned not to be feminine, especially for my girls who don't have a feminine job or feminine career. Like for me, I am an attorney, right? It's generally known that attorneys are very masculine, right? It's not like a nurse where you're like, you have to nurture. So that kind of taps into some femininity, aspects of you. But as a lawyer, it asks you to be masculine. But I have been challenging that notion, and I have been learning to bring my feminine energy to work. Because we spend so much time at work, right? If we can't bring it at work, it's difficult for us to fully embody it, because it's like like after work you try to be feminine, but then you go to work and it's like undoing everything you've done. So it's important to bring that femininity in all aspects of your life, right? Especially work. Now, being feminine at work doesn't mean, you have to compromise your professionalism or your ambition, right? It's about bringing a different kind of strength to the table. Like I said, feminine energy is not weak. It's a different type of strength, right? Strength like empathy and collaboration and resilience, right? I think a lot of the feminine skills that is brought to work, they're known as soft skills. But even though they're soft skills, they're actually incredibly powerful in any professional setting. In any professional setting, you need to be empathetic. You need to learn how to work together. You need to learn how to handle your emotions and be emotionally intelligent, right? That's important in any professional setting. So it's a form of strength, right? So these traits, they allow for you to have deeper connection at work, to have more meaningful interactions. So next time you're in a meeting, instead of trying to argue with someone and being all masculine and all of that, just focus on listening. Take a softer approach, right? Listen and connect instead of trying to prove a point. Lean into that natural, feminine strength that we all have as women, instead of trying to be like a man. Being a man, that role is taken by the man, right? It's time for us as women to be women and tap into the power that comes with being a woman, and not trying to be something we're not. I'm not saying not to have masculine skills, and we all have masculine and feminine energy together. They're supposed to work together like a yin and yang type of relationship. But I do believe that as women, our feminine energy is where true power lies. So not relying on it because it's seen as soft or weak in the real world is doing us a big, huge disservice. Tapping into your feminine energy at work can enhance your relationships, right? But also, I think most importantly, it helps you to lead with authenticity and compassion. Like you're still very much a woman while you're leading, while you're taking charge, but you're doing it in an authentically feminine way. And I think that helps you to stand out even more than just trying to be masculine and things like that. So I encourage that, we, especially as professional corporate women, especially to bring that femininity at work. Even if you're in a career that is not traditionally seen as a feminine career, learn to bring your feminine power in that space as well. So as we embrace our unique strength, let's also acknowledge the importance of honoring our natural cycles. I've learned that feminine energy is very cyclical. Feminine energy flows in cycles. That's why we have the menstrual cycles, right? As women, embracing these cycles can help us feel more aligned with our true nature, right? I think the real world and just life in general can pressure us to be on and active and productive and busy 24/7. But that is not sustainable for anybody, honestly, men or women, but especially as women, because our energy levels, our moods, our focus, it naturally ebbs and flows. And that's perfectly okay, as it should. So allow yourself to honor these cycles, right? Give yourself more rest when you need it, and then take advantage of high energy periods to be productive. So it all comes down again to listening to your body and honoring whatever it is that you need in that moment. Practicing self-compassion and honoring your cycles is a huge part of living a more balanced, feminine life, a more balanced life powered by feminine energy. I would recommend you do some research on cycle syncing if you've never heard of it before. It's all over TikTok, and I know they have some videos here on YouTube about it. But essentially, cycle syncing is like a self care practice. It involves changing your diet, your exercise, your lifestyle in general to match the different phases of your menstrual cycles. There are 4 phases that we go through. And throughout these different phases, our hormone levels and our energy levels, like all these things are different depending on the phase. And so the goal is to work with your cycles and not against your cycles, and to help you connect more with your body as a woman, because we're not meant to function as men do. So yeah, let me know if you want me to do more videos on these topics. I definitely think I want to explore more, maybe do another video on how to bring your feminine energy to work. I think that would be very helpful. And maybe talk about cycle syncing a little bit more. So there you have it. 8 simple, powerful ways to tap into your feminine energy. Listen, this journey of tapping into your feminine energy, it is exactly what I said. It's a journey, right? It's not a destination. So try incorporating just 1 or 2 of these practices this week, and see how it feels, right? Connect with it. Don't do anything that doesn't feel good to you. So try it out, see what feels good. If it feels good, keep doing it. If it doesn't, don't do it, right? This video was just meant to give you ideas and just to simply motivate you and inspire you to pay more attention to your femininity and your feminine energy. And remember, you can be both strong and soft, both ambitious and gentle. That's the beauty of feminine energy. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a friend who might need it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.